She's not family. She's a burden. That's what my mom said. Out loud. In front of everyone. I was halfway through chewing a bite of honey ham when her hand slammed into my shoulder. My chair jerked back. I hit the tile with a thud so loud, it silenced the room. 25 relatives, 2 Christmas trees, 1 long oak table dressed in red velvet, and me, on the floor like a dropped ornament. My name is Danica Ray, I'm 31. I was invited to Christmas dinner in the same way you invite a neighbor's cat. Tolerated, not welcomed. But this time I was shoved out of my own seat, out of my own name. My mom pointed at me like I was mold on the tablecloth. This table's for family. Go away. I blinked. Not because I didn't hear her, but because I wanted to memorize every face in that silence. My sister Emma, eyes wide, fork frozen. My uncle, the retired judge, looking everywhere but at me. My cousin Rachel was filming herself for TikTok 2 seconds before. Now her phone was trembling in her hand. And my dad stood up like he might defend me, then sat back down like a folding chair. The ham tasted like ash in my throat. I stood up slowly. My elbow throbbed where it hit the floor. I looked at my mother, my perfectly lipsticked, grudge-stuffed mother, and I said 3 words. Check your phone. Her face went white. My dad's hand jerked toward his jacket. He fumbled his glasses. My brother whispered something sharp to his wife. Because I'd already sent the message. 10 minutes before dinner. The truth had arrived. It was sitting in every inbox at that table. The silence shattered like a dropped wine glass. My mom's fingers twitched toward her phone. She tried to play it off, reaching for her napkin first, pretending to laugh. What is this, a prank? Her voice cracked. That's when I knew she hadn't checked yet. But everyone else had. My cousin Jason's face twisted like he'd just swallowed vinegar. My Aunt Lydia, the self-proclaimed family peacemaker, gasped and mouthed, "Oh my God." She clutched her husband's arm like she might float away if she didn't. I sat back down. Not at the table, no. I slid my chair to the side, facing them all. I wanted to watch this unfold like the final act of a Greek tragedy. The truth was in a single forwarded email. An attachment. My dad's signature. My mom's handwriting. The document that proved I wasn't just not family to them, I'd been legally removed. 6 months ago, they quietly signed over the family trust. Everything from my late grandmother to my sister Emma. I got nothing. Not $1. Not even a phone call. I wasn't mentioned in the will because, technically, I was no longer their daughter. They'd signed a release stating I'd severed emotional and financial ties voluntarily. A lie wrapped in legalese. I found out last week. The lawyer who handled the estate had called me by mistake, thinking I knew. And now, here we were. My dad's face turned the same red as the table runner. Danny, this isn't the time. Oh, it's exactly the time, I said calmly. Since you both wanted me gone so badly, I figured Christmas dinner was the perfect goodbye. Emma finally spoke. Wait, you sent this to everyone? I smiled. Even Grandma's priest. My mom finally unlocked her phone. I watched the color drain from her face like someone pulling the plug on her pride. Her thumb hovered, scrolled, then stopped. Her lips parted, but no sound came. Just a soft, stunned exhale. The kind you make when the lie you've rehearsed suddenly chokes in your throat. Across the table, my dad muttered, "Turn that off, Linda." But it was too late. Aunt Lydia was already reading it out loud. We, the undersigned, declare that our daughter, Danica Ray Morrow, is no longer to be considered a dependent nor a beneficiary. What the hell is this, Mike? The way she said daughter made it stick to the air like smoke. My mother finally snapped. She left us years ago, dropped out of college, ran off, didn't return our calls, didn't even come to her cousin's wedding. Oh, that's why. I laughed bitterly. Because I had a breakdown after Alex died? Because I couldn't smile through funerals and bridal showers while dragging myself out of bed? Jason whispered. Alex, her fiancé, right? My mom stood up, rattling the silverware. Don't twist this. You abandoned us. You're a drama queen with a victim complex. We were trying to protect Emma. She deserved the trust. Emma's face crumpled. You said she didn't want it. You said Danica told you she wanted no part of the money. She did, honey, Mom snapped. Didn't you, Danny? I leaned forward. I said I didn't want blood money. Not Grandma's. But I never said I wasn't her granddaughter. You forged my name. That landed. Uncle Robert, the judge, quietly stood up. You might want to talk to a lawyer. That's when Dad reached for the wine bottle and knocked over his glass instead. The wine seeped into the tablecloth like guilt into silence. Slow, permanent, dark. No one moved to clean it. My dad's hand trembled as he tried to upright the glass. It wasn't supposed to get this far. We just wanted peace. Peace. I echoed. Is that what you call secretly erasing your daughter from your life for peace? He didn't answer. His mouth opened, then closed, like he was still searching for a version of the truth that didn't taste like betrayal. The air felt heavy, humid with shame. My mom doubled down. You left us no choice. You always made things about you. The panic attacks, the therapy, the crying, we had to focus on Emma. Emma flinched like she'd been slapped. So you used me. We protected you, Mom snapped. From her drama. I was grieving, I whispered, voice suddenly tight. I lost the man I was going to marry. And you made me feel like it was inconvenient. Like I was ruining the family mood. A tear slipped from Emma's cheek. You told me she didn't want to be part of the trust. That she cut you off. I looked at her. I cut them off after they mailed me back Alex's things in a shoebox. No note. Just his ring, his photos, and a return to sender label. The silence this time was colder. Deeper. Jason looked up from his phone. This is illegal, isn't it? Uncle Robert nodded. If her signature was forged, yes. It absolutely is. Mom looked like she might explode. You came here to ruin Christmas. No, I said, standing. I came to let the truth unwrap itself. Then I turned to Emma and said, but I didn't come for them. I came for you. Emma's mascara was smudged, her lip trembling. Me? Why? I stepped closer. Because you're the only one who didn't lie. My mother scoffed, but I ignored her. I reached into my coat pocket and pulled out a small, square envelope, cream with a navy wax seal. I debated for weeks whether to bring it. Now I was sure. I placed it gently in front of Emma. Alex wrote that to you. 2 days before the accident. He never got to send it. She stared at it like it burned. You kept this. I didn't want you to remember him through them, I said, nodding toward our parents. He loved you like a sister. He wanted to make things right between us before the wedding. Emma ran her finger along the seal, but didn't open it yet. Why now? Because I need you to know I never left this family. They pushed me out. But I never stopped being your sister. My dad finally stood. Okay, this is enough. No, Emma said, sharp. She looked at him with a fury I hadn't seen since we were teenagers. You told me she didn't care. That she moved on. You lied to me for years. My mom stepped in. Emma, don't let her manipulate. Emma cut her off. Did you forge her signature? Mom hesitated. That was enough. Emma turned to me, her voice shaking. What do you want me to do? I looked around the room. Nothing. I just wanted the truth to be heard before they rewrote it again. Before you forgot who I really was. Then I picked up my coat, turned toward the front door, and said softly, Merry Christmas. But before I could leave, Uncle Robert cleared his throat. Danica, wait. I turned back slowly. My hand still gripped the doorknob, ready to leave them behind for good. Uncle Robert stood with an authority that quieted the room. Sit for a moment, he said. There's something I need to say. To everyone. I hesitated, then returned to the edge of the room. Not at the table, just near enough to hear. He looked around. I've been a judge for 33 years. I've seen people lie, betray, manipulate, and then play innocent when the consequences arrive. His eyes landed hard on my parents. This is textbook fraud. My mother's nostrils flared. Robert, this is family. No. This is legal. He held up his phone. You didn't just forge a signature. You filed it through a probate lawyer. You submitted it under penalty of perjury. Dad tried to speak. We didn't mean harm. But you did harm, Uncle Robert said, voice cold. And you're not the only ones with a copy of this now. Because I just sent it to my firm's ethics committee. And the state bar. The room shifted. My dad dropped into his chair like a deflated balloon. My mom, for once, had nothing to say. Her hands clutched her wine glass, like it could anchor her to a version of reality she still controlled. Emma looked stunned. What happens now? Uncle Robert glanced at me. That depends on Danica. All eyes turned to me again. It felt like standing on a cliff's edge. Wind howling, gravity waiting. I swallowed. I didn't come here to press charges. But, he asked. I looked directly at my parents. But I will if they ever try to erase me again. I want one thing, a public letter, sent to every family member, correcting the lie, and apologizing. Then I added, and Emma keeps the trust. All of it. My mom finally spoke, her voice trembling with rage. You think you can blackmail us into some performative apology? I tilted my head. No. I think you already did the damage. I'm just handing you the mop. Dad slumped forward, elbows on the table, face buried in his hands. Just do it, Linda. She turned to him, stunned. What? He didn't look up. She's not asking for money. She's not asking to be reinstated. She just wants the truth told. His voice broke. And maybe that's the least we owe her. I watched her shoulders tighten like armor. But even her pride had corners. Fine, she snapped. We'll send a letter. Uncle Robert raised an eyebrow. A statement. Copied to every recipient who got the trust revision. Including the lawyer. And me. She nodded stiffly. Fine. I could feel the walls finally exhale. Emma stood, gently cracking the wax seal on the envelope in her hand. She didn't read it aloud. But her eyes filled slowly as she scanned Alex's handwriting. She pressed the letter to her chest like it was the only real thing left in the room. I'm sorry I didn't fight harder for you, she whispered. I stepped forward and hugged her. She felt smaller than I remembered, not weak, just real. Human. Not the polished golden child our parents had propped on a pedestal. I never blamed you, I said into her shoulder. My mom made a sound like she wanted to object. But no one was listening to her anymore. As I let go of Emma, I reached into my bag and placed something quietly on the table. A small porcelain Christmas angel. Grandma's. I think this belonged here more than I ever did. Then I walked to the door again. But this time, I wasn't alone. Emma grabbed her coat without hesitation. Our parents called after her, first with confusion, then desperation. But she didn't look back. Just stepped out into the snow with me, closing the heavy front door on decades of control, guilt, and carefully curated lies. The cold bit at my cheeks. It felt clean. Honest. We stood in silence for a moment on the porch. Her breath puffed white. Mine trembled. You sure? I asked. She nodded. Yeah. I want to know who I am outside of them. Outside of their stories. We walked to my car. I had no idea where we were going. That didn't matter. She turned to me. You didn't have to protect me, you know. With the trust. You could have taken back what was yours. I shook my head. I didn't want money soaked in silence. You keep it. Use it to build something better. Something they'll never understand. Emma looked down at the angel in her hands. I hadn't noticed her slip it from the table. The porcelain figure shimmered in the streetlight, delicate but whole. Grandma would have wanted this, she said. I nodded. She would have wanted both of us at the table. We sat in the car for a while, engine off, heat off, just the soft hum of truth settling between us. The kind that doesn't need to scream to be felt. Emma finally broke the silence. What happens now? I smiled faintly. We heal. We tell the truth. And maybe next year we set our own table. She leaned back in her seat, exhaling. Deal. As I turned the key in the ignition, the headlights cut across the driveway. Inside, through the frosted windows, our parents sat frozen. A family portrait, cracked at last.